lately I've been actually looking for a good CRM for my business. Now, first of all, what is a CRM? Now, a CRM basically stands for Customer Relationship Manager. Essentially, I look at it as a glorified customer database. Now, a true blue enterprise level CRM does a lot of things, many of which I am not interested in. I mean, where you could track leads and opportunities and all these salesy things. And if I were a traditional salesman, maybe I'd care about things like that. I pretty much just want a good, solid customer database. Now, the question is, why do you need a CRM? I mean, why bother with this? It's just kind of another thing to plug into the business. And when even in a private group of other entrepreneurs here in Tampa, I was telling them that I'm looking for a CRM, and one of them actually suggested that I'd not even worry about it because it's like, what is it really going to add to your business? In my point of view, your customer database is extremely, extremely important. And a lot of online businesses are not keeping track of it properly, including mine. Now, the thing is, yes, when somebody buys something from me, my shopping cart has their information. I do have their information inside of Aweber. So I do have their information. It's just that it's not in a place that I can really manage it properly. For example, I cannot easily simply go in there and find out which of my customers have bought product X and Y. I can't run an easy search like that and just simply get a report and send them a quick email. I can't do things like that. Aweber manages everything via lists, and that's it. I would love it if Aweber would sometime move to a tagging system, more like Infusionsoft, but I don't know when they're going to do that. One time I heard a rumor that maybe they're considering it, but I have absolutely no idea. But coming back to the point, follow-up capability is extremely important, and being able to make these follow-ups more meaningful by putting the right message in front of the right person at the right time. Now, with a standard list setup like I've got with Aweber, it's a little difficult to do that. As much as you might segment those lists or have a different list for a different purpose, it's kind of difficult to really have that fine-tuned if-then logic. You know, if somebody's on list A, but they're also on another one, and it's hard to be able to navigate some of those things with that type of a setup. Plus, when you have a good CRM, it makes you look awesome. What happens if you get on the phone with somebody? You know, I've got a few private consulting clients, by the way, and I have to use Evernote to kind of keep track of what we've talked about because I'll forget. I mean, I don't have the best memory in the world. How awesome would you look if you keep track of things like customers' birthdays in a CRM, and then something as simple as sending them a happy birthday card or something like that? Your customers will think you are an absolute badass and they're going to love you, but you've got to track that information. Where do you track it? Well, you're not going to be tracking that stuff in Aweber, most likely, and your shopping cart certainly not going to do it. So we need something that performs a CRM functionality for our business. Now, is an email list the same thing? No, it isn't. As we've already gone over, Aweber, its primary mission is to mass email your subscribers. Now, those subscribers could be prospects. They could also be people who have actually bought something from you. And Aweber is fantastic at what they do. I take nothing away from Aweber, and everybody knows that I have been recommending Aweber for quite a long time. But are they a full-blown CRM? Not even close. You're not going to be able to track basic information for your subscribers. You're not going to be able to tag them. You've got to basically opt them into multiple lists. And by the way, every time they get onto another list, they've got to reconfirm themselves and everything. One thing from my point of view is if somebody is going to opt in and confirm their email address one time, they should never have to do that ever again, because I already know the email address is valid. So when they buy something from me and they get onto a customer list, I should not have to ask them if the email address is verified or not, or if it's correct. We already know it's correct. I simply want to tag them with the customer tag. I say, yes, they bought that product, and that's it. That's all I want to be able to do. So let's look at some of the options here that I've actually been contemplating. One really popular one for small businesses is called HighRise, and it's put out by 37 Signals. 37 Signals is a great company. I used to use their project management system, and they really do a great job. Now, the thing about HighRise is that what they do really well, but they are very well known for not putting a whole lot of features into their software because they'd rather keep it simple and elegant. And I respect that, but at the same time, I don't feel like HighRise completely suits my needs. It integrates with a lot of things because it is 37 Signals, and they've got an API. But at the same time, it's a little bit too, it is what it is. And it's not, I can't adapt it to my needs. There's certain things that HighRise is doing that I just don't want even on my screen because I'm never going to use it. Now, another one is called Batchbook. Now, Batchbook looks pretty darn cool. It's actually a really good HighRise alternative, and it has really strong abilities in terms of custom fields, tagging. It's a great customer database. It also has some features built into it for social integration, although I don't think the way they did social is very useful because you pretty much have to, it'll search Facebook for your customer, but then you're going to get all these duplicate names. And unless you know exactly what they look like, you have no idea what's going on. So I think the social aspect of Batchbook is a little overplayed in my perspective, but it is a good product. The next one is Infusionsoft. Now, Infusionsoft is pretty well known in the information marketing space. They do everything. They've got a shopping cart, they've got the affiliate program, and yes, they've got very powerful email and CRM functionality. And quite frankly, that's really what their strength is the email and customer, the CRM. But there are a lot of issues, in my opinion, with Infusionsoft. From my feedback that I've gotten from people, it's either a love-hate relationship. A lot of people don't like Infusionsoft. They have problems with the company. They think the software is overly complicated. And quite frankly, those people that I know who seem to really like Infusionsoft generally are not running it themselves. They've got somebody doing it for them, and to me, that says a lot. So I'm not really willing to go down the route of Infusionsoft. And then lastly is an option called Office Autopilot. Now, Office Autopilot basically seems like Infusionsoft, but without all the complexity, and they just seem like a cooler company to me. So I'm really, really heavily looking into switching to Office Autopilot. So where it stands right now is that I have been giving Batchbook a try. I've got some records set up in Batchbook, but I'm not particularly happy with Batchbook. Even though I recognize the potential power of Batchbook, I'm having some issues with it. One of them seems to be importing. Now, you can bring a CSV file to the table and you can import it into Batchbook. The problem is the way that it works is janky and stupid. First of all, you upload the CSV and you map it, everything fairly predictable. You hit the button and then it says it's going to email you with the results of the import. Problem is, I don't get those emails, and my account is set up properly. I check the spam folder, they're not going in there. So there's something really wrong with the way that they're notifying people. And I really think it's stupid that they don't give us the feedback of something as simple as a CSV import inside the interface. I should get immediate feedback on if there's any errors with that CSV. I should not have to sit there and wait several minutes for an email, blah, blah, blah. And the other thing, too, is after trying this for 4 or 5 different times and finding that nothing was happening, I emailed Batchbook support. The person who was answering me was quite nice, but they were clearly clueless as to what was going on. The things that they were suggesting as possible problems didn't make any sense. And quite frankly, their system should be strong enough to not have these stupid little things throw it for a loop. So it was just driving me up the wall. And it really, if I'm running into these kinds of problems with Batchbook this early in the game, I probably shouldn't stick around. Now, it also seems like a bit of an island unto itself. Batchbook is a good customer database. It does have an API. That being said, it doesn't really have a lot of built-in integrations with too many things. And in terms of being able to email and interact with people based on what tags they've got in the system, you can't do that unless you're using MailChimp. Batchbook seems to be pretty well integrated with MailChimp, but being that I'm using Aweber, I'm pretty much SOL. So I actually am considering a switch to Office Autopilot. Yes, it's not cheap, but I would actually be making a bigger project out of this than I actually intended originally. It has really powerful CRM capabilities, but yes, I probably would be moving a lot of my stuff away from Aweber. Not something that I ever thought I would be doing, but I think the power of Office Autopilot might be more in tune with what I need and want for my business as I grow than what Aweber can provide at this point. I don't know how Office Autopilot's email deliverability compares to Aweber. I'm really, quite frankly, hesitant to move away from Aweber because I like the company so much. However, it's starting to look like Office Autopilot might be a better way to go for me. So as you are listening to this little audio post or potentially reading this on my blog, if you've got any experience with these solutions, I'd love to hear your feedback. Please post a comment on this post. And if you're listening to this inside of iTunes or on a mobile device, you can go over to my blog at blogmarketingacademy.com. And I would love to get your feedback by simply posting a comment on the post, and I'd love to hear. I mean, I'm looking for all opinions here because this is really a big decision that I need to make, and maybe some of you guys have used some of these options, and particularly if you've used Office Autopilot, I'd really love to hear about your experiences. So that's about it for today, and I'll talk to you guys soon.